And welcome everybody.
Wrong one.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set. All the world's a stage, and you're on it.
Jesus Christ, can suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
You tell me I didn't say what.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
Can't have a can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another Gems Flat Earth Sunday Roast and our Night of the Long Knives as we bring you the latest news from Revolution Square. I am your host and revolutionary leader, Generalissimo Gem, and on our panel this evening, leading the peasantry to freedom is Fidel Cat Earthstroke.
Yes, I'm so happy that I'm number one nowadays. I miss Twit and Lewis a lot, but yeah, I don't because I'm number one. There we go.
See what I did there? Do you like your revolutionary name?
I did that. I liked it. Yeah, I love
Producing powerful populist propaganda is M. Scott Guevara.
Viva la revolution.
And with us is leader of the People's Revolutionary Naval Forces, Admiralissimo Kosho.
I like that. You gotta put the Navy in there.
I don't know whether there is such a thing as an Admiralissimo, but
There is now.
there is now. And he's dressed as a Native American, and he's just thrown tea over the side of the hangout. It's the original Son of Liberty, Curved.
Hey everyone, it's happy to be here.
Curved is here somewhere, I hope.
Hey.
Oh, was that Curved? Anyway, it's...
Sorry, hang on. I ruined Curve's intro. Do a proper intro for Curve. Sorry, Curve.
Oh, I'm listening to the wrong one, probably. Hang on.
Oh yeah, you need to be in here to hear me and there to hear the videos, Curved, sorry. So you're going to be a bit behind. In about 10 seconds, Curved will hear me say that.
I think I got it now.
There you
I'm
go.
listening to the right one now.
Anyway, where do we get to? It's been a week of uprisings in Flat Earth this week as the old guard leaders are deposed and attacked in verbally violent revolutions by young religious extremists demanding compliance with their fundamentalist doctrine. So, shall we take a look?
Yeah, did you pre-write that, or did you just say that off the top of your head?
No, I write it every week.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, because that was epic. Like,
It's because when I didn't write stuff in the first few shows, I'd get to this bit and I'd go, I'd got nothing to say. So I'd like to write this first little bit out. So I've got something
that was good.
to go to, do you know what I mean? Then I get into video, relax a little bit, you guys can start chatting, and then I'm okay.
There you go. There we go. Very good. I like it. Very poetic.
I like to script things. Right, so hang on. Pulling away from my script now. So I messed up the intro again anyway, didn't I? By playing a little bit of this almost...
Yeah, you did mess the intro up. I didn't want to say, but now that we're talking about it, it's pretty awful. Very unprofessional.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, so what we've got is the hot news of this week, of course, is Globebusters have removed all their content from their channel. And, I mean, we don't know the reason for this. There was some talk in the past of there being, there was a trademark violation, and they'd already removed a load of content for that. And everything else, as I understood it, everything that remained was in compliance in trademark terms. Their logo was too close to the Ghostbusters thing. So anyway, so all of the content from that channel is gone. There was no Globebusters tonight, and speculation is that this is a result of the battering that Bob took last week from Nathan. Nathan was on the show to sorry, it's such a long story, this one. This relates back to Behind the Curve and the 15-degree rotation. And one of the ways that they were hoping to refute this was to say this wasn't science, it wasn't an experiment, it didn't prove anything. And they got Nathan in to do that. So, just to put you in the picture, Nathan, right at the start of the show, they introduced Nathan, and he goes straight into his speech, which lasts, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. They can't stop him at some point because for some reason he can't hear them. Then he goes into Bob starts talking about how the gyroscope could be a proper experiment, and so on and so forth. And he takes Bob through his usual independent variable game, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. And then we sort of get to this chunk that we're about to play now. So I just wanted to sort of put this in context, because we've been listening to Nathan now for a long time and people are getting frustrated. So anyway, here goes. Sorry about that very, very, very long introduction.
In all we trust. Amen.
Oops.
Protected by the fiber optic gyro. Hashtag Einstein is my bitch. I am your host, Bob, Xanadude60, and we are back with another great show for you today. So Nathan has kind of been covering some of this gyroscope stuff on his show, the Flat Earth Debates. I just wanted to tell you, first of all, great job on your show. I've become a big fan of it, and so has Jaron. I know all of us have. And the Sagnac experiments proved that the ether is actually there. And even though the Einstein followers will try and discount that, it's been proven over and over and over again. Like I said, today we're using the technology that uses the Sagnac effect, which is the very thing that proved the ether to exist. So, so I guess, that's kind of where we're going with that. Go ahead.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, sorry. So, no, this is not scientifically valid either. The Sagnac experiment is not a scientific experiment. If you can tell me what the independent and dependent variable is for that, I'll, take you through how it's not science. Again, the other thing you've done is you've just declared quite openly and boldly that science says the ether is real. So science is a method. It doesn't say anything. And you've promptly taken us to Dollard, who has told you what's what. And then you've declared that that's science also. And it's not.
Okay,
so
well, Nate...
Okay, this is a hard task.
I understand what you're saying, Nathan, but we have technology that exists on the science today.
I'm sorry. This is a really hard task for me, Bob. You can probably hear it in the quiver in my voice. This is not something I want to do. You're wrong.
Okay.
This is not science at all. And you are reifying science into what men say. You are now guilty of what I went through at the start of the show. So what Dollard says is definitely not science. What Dollard says is just what he says about what he sees, and that's not science.
Okay,
that's where we're duped.
Nor am I claiming that what Dollard says is science. I simply said that is his explanation for what it is. I'm not claiming it's science, Nathan. And look, if you're going to go down this road and talk about it this way, look, we know that this is technology that is in use today. It works, period. Okay, so
technology is not science.
I'm not saying that it is. Then what you're telling me is that all of technology is now invalid because it doesn't fit the scientific method. And to that, I say bullshit.
That's a false equivocation fallacy, Bob. It's like battling with a baller. That's a false equivocation. Those two are not the same. Technology is not science. You did not.
I'm not saying it is, Nathan.
Maybe I can come back when you're a bit less triggered about this.
I'm not triggered. I'm saying that I am not saying.
Sentence, Bob.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Bob, Is it the Sagnac experiment?
Well, if you're referring to the placard that's showing, it says the Sagnac experiment, yes.
Right. Therein lies the problem. We have been deceived into what is and is not science. And what is declared as men, what they say is science, isn't necessarily an adherence to the empirical method that establishes the cause, independent variable, of an effect, dependent variable.
What has that to do in relation to measuring devices and technology?
Nothing.
Well, then why are we talking about it?
Why are we having this discussion then?
Well, because it's being called an experiment. Like this gyroscope was called an experiment when it is not.
Well, it's not.
And we've conceded that.
Why am I being attacked? I didn't call it an experiment, did I, Mike? Did I call it an experiment?
I'm not saying.
Why is everyone jumping on me? Yeah, okay.
Nathan, we're not calling. We capitulated and said, okay, great. It's not an experiment. It's an observation. We have capitulated that point. What you know?
Yes.
Where are we going with this?
My issue being, you've then gone on within moments to say that science proves the ether. Correct?
Then obviously this is a battle of semantics. Then, and you know, I don't.
No. How dare you? Words have meanings, Bob.
I get that, Nathan.
Using these words, and I tell you what, guys. If I'm going to get talked over the entire time, I did this for a week with Dr. John Dee, a PhD scientist. He conceded I was correct at the end. And the reason I'm doing this, challenging though it clearly is because what is happening is the very reason we have been deceived by practitioners of pseudoscience, men in white coats who observe phenomena and declare science says that light in the sky is a gas in a vacuum. Why? Because I declare it. Because I've done experiments, and they have not. That's the problem. This gyroscope is not science. It's not an experiment. Science hasn't proved the ether. Science is very narrow. And that term, which we've all been trained, correctly so, proves things. When it's used incorrectly, no offense, Bob, we're all guilty of this. I'm not trying to single you out. But we're all guilty when we say we've done an experiment. Science says. Because it doesn't. Just a method.
Okay, well, you know what? Whatever the terminology is, Nathan, I mean, I get it. And like I said, I've already capitulated the idea that this is not an experiment, it's an observation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a video that basically kind of explains, and whether or not you want to agree that it's the Sagnac experiment or not, it is an explanation for essentially where we're getting our technology from today. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this a listen. Fine, it's not an experiment. Great, I capitulate that. Let's hear the explanation.
It doesn't prove anything, Bob. It doesn't prove anything. It's going to be the words of man.
Nathan, look, if you're going to interrupt me on my show, then maybe it is time for you to go, because this argument is getting ridiculous. All right?
Yes.
It is getting over the top ridiculous.
He's already gone.
He dropped. Okay. God, I can't. You know, I understand where he's trying to go with this, but this is absolutely preposterous. You know, this is wound up as a battle of semantics, and honestly, I understand where a lot of the ballers are feeling their frustration. And it's great. You know, it's funny to watch them get subjected to it, but the reality is look, it's existing technology. We use it to measure things.
So, are we going to glance over the main point of why there are no videos on this channel we're speaking about?
They've all been set to private.
Or...
They've all been set to private. I don't know what the claim is from Bob. Anthony knows better than I haven't been in touch with Bob. I'm just getting this information secondhand from other people who are telling me that I'm being smeared by Bob. So, fun for me. As the chat comments have said, the tip of the spear takes the most damage. Well, in this case, the damage I'm receiving is from one of my own. Even though I'm trying to save their ass from their own ignorance, i.e. their ignorance being that they've claimed this is a big problem, in quotes. because science has proven something when it hasn't. So their own idiocy and stupidity in regards to science has left a television company promoting the fact that we as flat earthers have proven the bloody earth spins. Well, no, we haven't. We haven't applied science. We just have people who are ignorant claiming science because it means they seem clever. That's it. Well, that was a very easy thing to resolve. You know, I've managed to get around this problem with several other people, including Dr. John Dee and John Savage, both of which had a similar reaction at first. They weren't very happy about what I was saying. And with a little bit of work, they were both saying, great, this is progress. So, yeah, but that just takes a bit of humility. You know, I didn't shut the channel down when we got it wrong about Ireland. You know, the fact that I declared on a debate quite boldly about 20 or 30 times that we can see Ireland didn't mean I shut my channel down when it was proven incorrect by one of our own side, Chris Monk, at the time. Yeah, you just have to, cap in hand, eat a bit of humble pie and say you were wrong. That's it. No foul, no harm. It didn't cause any issue with John Savage. It hasn't caused any issue with Dr. John Dee. Unfortunately for Globebusters, and this is the bit that pisses me off, all the people who put all of their time, effort and energy into producing that content, and because Bob's had a bit of a hissy fit, he's decided to turn it all off. Oh right, well it's not all your work, is it, Bob? It's all those guests. It's all those people who've watched it and supported it and built up the viewing ratings. Those are the people who made that channel, not you. But you're arbitrarily going to turn all that off because you're looking a bit silly at the moment. Oh, how pathetic. Get over yourself, you bloody drama queen. Anthony's now appealed to them in private. I've appealed to them in public. They don't want to let it go. So, as far as I'm concerned at this point, I don't know if I should say this either, but if it doesn't change, it becomes the point where we've got people who are basically dangerous. This isn't a task I look forward to doing. This isn't something I'm relishing. This isn't something I want to do. It's just necessary. He's systematically gone through about 85 videos and set them all to private, then proceeded to contact everybody on Skype that I know and smear me. So, yeah, for that I am pretty pissed off at Bob. Pretty disgusting behaviour by all accounts. Just a drama queen. Give me sympathy. I'm hard done by. Also, Nathan's a bastard. That's what he's been doing. So, yeah, I know what he's doing, and it pisses me right off, and I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, Bob, if you're listening to this, stop smearing me. Grow a pair of balls and realise where you've made a few mistakes, accept that you're wrong, and then we can all move on happily, can't we? Or you can carry on as you are, claiming that I don't know anything about science. I wouldn't know science from a grocery list, according to Bob. Yet I'm not the one claiming science, am I? You find a quote that I've said I'm doing science, and I'll take you directly to the FE Core website where it says you're adhering to the scientific method. I'm not claiming science, Bob. You are. You did it while I was on the show with you. Science proves the ether? Yeah? So you are claiming science.
Why would he do all that just because of the issue between you two? That's just
ego.
Sad.
Ego.
Sad.
Ego. Ego. This is hurting his pride. He liked being able to tell 1,000 people on a Sunday what's what. And now he can't.
Oh, Diddums, poor Nathan. Is he triggered?
It was a battle that was uncomfortable to listen to, don't you think?
Total power play. I think Fe Vader said it in the chat. I agree. It was a total power play.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No, he started with, I don't want to do this before he even started. He knew exactly what he was going to start doing.
Right. I think he did. And I mean, the bit I couldn't include because it was just too long was his initial monologue, which they tried to interrupt and couldn't because apparently he couldn't hear them. And I even had my doubts as to whether this was actually a technical glitch or whether he just decided to ignore them and just keep talking, you know.
He's got his hangout settings, hasn't he? So he's just like, just talks
because
like
when they really built up, when sort of 3 or 4 of them were going, Nathan, 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 that was when he said, and that's all I've got to say, and stopped. You know, but they, you know, so it was all a little bit convenient, that was. So, I don't know, but yeah, that's what I felt, that it was like, you know, I'm going to be the new Bob sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, he definitely made the play. He can smell the blood, can't he? Like
Right.
a shark in water.
Bob was already, on the floor from the battering he took from Vegan Warrior, and the movie in general, the criticism he's received from it, and Nathan laid the boot in, didn't he? Just
kicking a
him
man
while
when
he was
he's
down.
down.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this is what happens to Bob when he dares to say something true that doesn't support the flat Earth, it's insane. Like we know they turn on each other in general, but this is on a whole new level.
But do you think though that Nathan had a point because Bob did sort of blunder in there where he went, oh yeah, it's been proven,
Well, I don't think Nathan. Look, Nathan's wrong. Nathan is wrong about 90%, 95% of what he's saying about science.
Right.
He's so up in arms and he's so determined to send this message out. That message is fundamentally flawed, and he refuses to engage anybody that knows what they're talking about. So he'll pick on an engineer, or pick on somebody who didn't study science, but he refuses to actually listen to the real argument, the real definitions of science. So refuses to have a sophisticated understanding of what you do when two equally valid sources have mutually exclusive definitions of science, which happens all the time. He has these weird, restrictive quantum eraser derived definitions that are just plain wrong. So which part do you think he was right about, baby?
Well, it's like you just because you say Bob's wrong, it doesn't make you right.
No, I think
being right about Bob being wrong.
I thought where he was correct. There are 2 points where I think he was correct. One is the very end bit, where I think he when he was talking about ego, and Bob likes to be able to tell people what's what on a Sunday night, and I think that is Bob's thing. I think he he does like to be the wise old man of flat Earth. But also I think that when Bob said ether has been proven, it's been proven by science, and it's taught in electrical engineering, and that this whole stream of stuff to support the idea of ether that just wasn't true.
Right.
But apart from that, I agree with you. Nathan is just wrong on just so many levels with this argument. It's just so absurd.
And not to mention, there's this implication inside of what Nathan's saying, which is this implication that if it is not science, it's not true or something. At some level, a real scientist does not care about how he wants to define. Call it whatever he wants. Change the name to googly goo, whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter, because if the method that you're using is going to determine something that's true about the world, then it's useful. Call it science or don't call it science. It doesn't matter. It's still true.
Right. It's a couple of times now. As I was going through this, and you do hear him say. He said it once. He said you don't need science to to know things or something along these lines, which is what I always say. I was most surprised to hear him say this. He said you can make a logical deduction, but then he said, but that can be proved wrong, and with science you can prove it empirically. This is another layer to his argument I've noticed he's wrong, is he goes on and on about they tell us in school that science can prove things. And when, Nathan's he's probably told every day that science can't prove things, Nathan. It disproves things.
It's literally day one of your Physics 101 class, which is there's absolutely no such thing as a perfect experiment, and therefore science never proves anything. It always is correcting itself. The entire discipline is built around the central core idea that you can't prove anything absolutely true.
Right, and his argument is built around the idea that you can. They argue for this all of the time, and this is what they teach us. And I've noticed, off the back of this, he's now co-opted some new words. So it's not just science. This argument was about the word experiment, Bob's use of the word experiment, because now that has to comply with Nathan's 4-step program or quantum erasers, just to say experiment, which is it doesn't necessarily mean that at all. And the other word that he's getting now is empirical. He seems to be seizing that as well. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean I was just going to point out that this is not like deep knowledge. Like the most cursory exploration or research of this topic will show him, source after source that will tell him there are 5 to 6 different kinds of experiments, and only 2 of them really need controlled variables. Controlled experiments do, but there's all kinds of other ones, observational experiments and natural experiments, and it's like this is not hard to find. I mean, literally all he has to do is read Science 101 text.
Right. And I noticed, he names this Dr. John D, the PhD guy, who I don't believe is a PhD guy, who is convinced. And I mean, that Dr. John D did mention that in his email to Dr. Bob when they were having an email exchange. But John Savage, the guy off Iron Realm Media, I was listening to Iron Realm Media on Friday night, and he was making all the arguments that Bob is. He was saying, well, it's just a measurement, and you can use these things for this, and I don't think Nathan's necessarily right. And he wasn't being really, really aggressive with the argument, but you could tell he's completely unconvinced by Nathan.
Right.
Although Nathan is claiming the opposite. Curved, any thoughts? Oh, sorry. Who did I cut off there?
I think you cut off Scott. He was trying.
No, it's fine. I've said enough. Curve, please.
Well, I'm just wondering why we're dissing the good Dr. John D when he put in all that hard work to get his PhD in photosmegmography or whatever it is that he has.
Well, didn't he? Did he help with Karen B's that experiment she did with the pressure? I think it's she said in that video she was helped by Dr. John D.
Oh, right. And doesn't she make some monumental cock up in that?
Yeah, she really kind of does. And I try to help her just because there's a couple subtle points that kind of disrupt the whole video, kind of takes away the validity of any of it. But you would think that someone who was a doctor in anything could have easily pointed that out. But if he's the one who did the experiment, then it was I can't believe somebody who did that is a doctor.
Right. Well, my doubts were first raised in the first. I don't know whether it was his very first video, but the first video I saw where he was laying out this experiment, this peer-to-peer experiment, and or one of his experiments, and in it he was saying, he had assumed the Earth to be spherical. For the purposes of the experiment, for his measurements, and he'd gone for spherical, not an oblate spheroid, because he looked at NASA photos and it looked perfectly circular in NASA photos. That really newbie argument that they make.
Right. There's no way that guy's a PhD.
I know. I mean,
he just makes too many mistakes like that.
Right. You just can't. You can't imagine a PhD would say that, really. It's just standard newbie flat earth bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah, and plus a PhD in a science is not going to learn about the scientific method for the first time from Nathan, which is essentially what happened.
Right.
It just isn't. It's just unreasonable to think that they want to believe that.
Right, and you'd expect someone at that level. I mean, to know something of the philosophy of science. I mean, I've got a friend who was a biologist and worked as a biologist for a while. And she, the very first thing they did when she started her university degree, the very first thing they did was philosophy before they did any biology, because you need to have an understanding of how you know things and what that kind of thing. Anyway, shall we move on?
One other thing I just wanted to say is I can't remember if it was in your clips, but the part about Bob understanding the frustrations of the ballers who go,
oh yeah, he does.
Nathan, he's so annoying.
Yeah. It's funny because at the beginning of it, he's all like, "Oh, we're big fans of the show, Nathan." At the end of it, he's like, "Oh yeah, well, I understand how they feel. It's fun to watch them." Because Nathan really did put him through the ringer, and it would have been nice to have heard all of that, but it was just so long. I mean, there was well over an hour of just almost total Nathan. It was a Nathan overload.
I was going to say, though, I brought this up before, but, if the claim that the the whatever Bob or whoever on the Globusters team had seen, or I think the FE core team, whichever team it was, that's seen this 15 degrees per hour. If the claim is that it's not the Earth's spin and that it's not science, then this can be seen as an observation, which can be used to make a hypothesis on what that measurement came from. So, claiming it's not science just because you used a measurement to measure something, which I disagree with, you can then say, well, this observation can be used to, further some future experiment using the same device and to try to come up with if it's not the Earth spinning, then what caused this measurement. And you'd have to create a hypothesis and do all that, but without that, I don't really see what leg they have to stand on by saying that it's not the Earth spinning.
Right. I mean, Bob was suggesting that he should, that he could make it into an experiment by changing location, and of course Nathan wouldn't have that, of course. Right. But as you say, that would, if he did that, he would, start to build up a series of observations, which would lead to a better hypothesis, right?
Right. Or at least one to replace the one that we have.
Right. Yeah. But good luck with that. Anyway, let's have a bit of fashion, shall we? We really needed Twit here for this. Sadly, she can't be with us. But anyway, take a look at this.
Well, for Mark and I and for you, it's time we put the heliocentric model in the trash. And on that note, on this show, just for fun, I am wearing an outfit made entirely from trash bags or bin liners, depending on what you call them where you live.
Oh,
why?
I am breathless with anticipation.
Yes, as I'm hope sure. It holds. It came up in chat in a previous show when I said that my mother had said one time that, you could wear a trash bag and you could pull that off. And then someone in chat said it too. And although I think that's quite complimentary, I decided to put it to the test. So I've challenged myself, and I've been putting together an outfit with these black trash bags that I purchased to see if it will actually work. Now, would I wear this out in the street? No. But with trash bags, 3 of them actually, clear tape and scissors and nothing else but a pair of heels, a belt, a pearl necklace, and earrings. Here's what I whipped up. Oh, everyone want to see this?
Sweet mother of God.
Yeah.
Also helps when you're wearing about $8,000 worth of pearls.
Well, they're not real pearls because I'm vegan.
They're not?
Of course not. Because that would require hurting an animal. But they're very nice fakes. All right, here's the outfit. I hope you can see it. It's sticking to my thighs. Hold on. Wait.
Wow. All right, get it back up. Well, you're out of frame.
I had to get out of frame to pull it. All right. The top is made from 1 trash bag. I made it into like a style so it gives me a kind of defined waist. And then the skirt is 2 trash bags. It's below knee length because even if I'm wearing a trash bag, I'm going to keep it classy. And I'm wearing heels. So here's my trash bag outfit.
Very good.
And if I had to answer the door wearing this, I mean, it might look a little odd, but it kind of looks like a pleather or, faux leather dress.
Yeah.
And so that is the trash bag dress. If anybody in chat thinks I succeeded, let's put a 1 in there.
There's not a lot of people, 1, that could make that dress, and 2, pull it off. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I know it has nothing to do with flat Earth, although in flat Earth, we have to have a creative way of looking at the world we've been presented. And nobody would be in flat Earth unless they were able to think outside the box. And this dress is an example of my style of thinking out of the box.
Wow, she took that to a whole new level.
Yeah, she certainly did, didn't she?
Oh God.
Actually, I thought it was quite a good effort. Actually, I thought it should turn.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I think the effort is what's worrying, you know.
Well,
I found it fitting and quite appropriate.
I was thinking there's probably a way that Mark Sargent could give her a pearl necklace without hurting an animal.
Oh God!
I think he was definitely thinking about that, wasn't he? God, dude, so bad.
That would still be an animal product, technically.
Well, hang on. Isn't plastic like dinosaur poo or whatever?
No, we're talking pearl necklace.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Plastic is dinosaur poo.
Well, isn't it from oil or whatever?
Well, yeah,
that was all dinosaurs.
Oil is crushed plant matter mostly, I think, isn't it?
But it's dinosaurs
not
as well.
Crushed dinosaurs. But I think if it was dinosaur poo, I'm not sure if that would still involve hurting the animal. You know, it would hurt the animal if it didn't poo.
Right? A little late for that.
How have we got onto this? A question from the chat was, why is Mark wearing white gloves? And the reason for that is because he was about to show off, advertise, I guess, try and market the Flat Earth coin that was featured on our show last week. And they'd sent him the demo version of it, and with it, a pair of white gloves to wear while he held it. So that was why he was wearing white gloves.
He got that $400 coin?
Yeah.
Or $800? Wow.
I think his story is that he'd already bought one. He'd gone on the website and bought one, and then I think he made an advert for it or something. He stuck the video. Somebody else had done like a demo of it that he stuck on his channel. And then they contacted him and said, "Oh, we'll send you the demo one." But he claims to have already paid for it.
Yeah, he probably stole Mom's credit card, huh?
This coin thing as well. Sorry, it's a load of nonsense, right? You know how you can get these coins that are rare. You know, like everyone's in this country anyway. You know, the 50p's, the £2, all this. Oh, it's worth £5,000. There was those 5 coins, or no, £5 notes, wasn't it? That were worth a lot
the
of
guy
money.
had put the little
A little inscription on it.
Drawing on it, hadn't he?
Yeah, and he is a famous artist, so those were worth money. But we get all these coins, right, in the shop, and we're always finding them. You go on eBay, it's like, oh, £1,000. We put one up for 800. You know, no one wants it. No one's buying these coins. It's like nonsense. So yeah, it's worth, if anyone will give you even a tenner for it, you'd be lucky. So I don't know.
I like that coin though. I don't know. I just it's just the geek in me, you know. I just like stupid shit like that, you know.
If it were cheaper, I think I'd get one myself, but $800 is a crime.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they're $400.
$400, okay.
Oh, that's a steal then, isn't it?
It's still too much, isn't it? I know. I think I'd like one, but God, there's so many other things I could spend that money on, you know.
If it's on sale right now, Jem, for $400, saving $400 if you buy that coin right now.
That looks like a very expensive cover story for showing everybody that you like to self-examine your prostate.
Yeah, the gloves were actually to stop him wanking while...
yeah, that's what I thought.
While she showed the dress off.
I was curious about in your intro, the video of Mark Sargent getting like a massage or something like that. Where's that from?
Oh, don't you remember the big scandal? It was from was it the first Flat Earth conference or some meetup or something? They went.
Yeah, it was the first Flat Earth conference. That's what it was.
The first Flat Earth conference, and the idea of that video was it was supposed to be like a sort of a bit of a joke, and it was shot by Orphan Red. That was Orphan Red's friend, who Mark actually ended up in a relationship with for a while. And they were sort of doing, it's supposed to be sort of, ha, look what's happening at the conference. And they made this video. He uploaded it as private, and then somebody liked it or shared it, and it became public. And he was heavily criticised for it, especially by the Christian contingent.
Oh, sure.
In fact, he sort of. I think him and Patty had a little sort of fallout after that for a bit. I think he was off her show for a bit. And...
Oh, what's Patty going to do without her emotional support?
Yeah.
Yeah, that relationship, man. I don't know.
I respect Mark Moore for that. Go on, Mark Sargent.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, he's back in line now. He's kowtowing to Patty again.
Yeah, I know. He couldn't resist the bin bag, the trash. What was it like? He said trash sexual. That's kind of harsh, but it's funny.
Yeah. Another odd thing about that was how Orphan Red got like called onto the carpet and had to go in front of Nathan and face him and be chastised for that. And she capitulated. She put up with it and went and dealt with him, with Nathan giving her a hard time about what had happened there, and had to be like all, apologetic and everything about
Which
it.
Nathan?
That was very weird.
Oakley or one of the other ones?
I thought it was Oakley that was giving her a hard time
right.
about it.
I don't remember that.
He was Mr. Christian more back then.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He was a bit more of a Christian. Although he couldn't be more of a fucking Christian than he is now. Excuse my French, Christians.
I think Sasha just wants a hard time, doesn't she? So, for anyone, she's not quite all there, is she? Let's face it.
But yet, it's all there at the same time. Imagine that. Depending on where you're looking.
No, Kev. I'm not even going to think about that. She's 100% crazy. The whole bed thing annoys me about Orphan Red as well. You know, they're like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm in bed with my weird. Like,
I know. Just and the, enormous cleavage.
Yeah.
Right in the center of the image.
Oh, I had noticed that. Is that she has a lot of cleavage or something?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I was gonna make a prediction regarding this trash bag video and just the FE content creators in general. If this kind of progresses, like the whole Globebusters being shut down, if more people start shutting down, I think that people are going to kind of start continue to creating content. Like I see Patricia Steer continuing to create content, but probably less about Flat Earth, and kind of just direct it, slowly start directing it somewhere else.
Right.
Which, is smart if you're a content creator, but that's what the smart ones will do, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah. Right, I should say hello to a few people because I forgot last week. So, or at least until the very end. So, I'm just going to run through the chat, guys. Just bear with me while I do this. Good evening to John Watson.
Yes!
I know, he's right at the top there. Queuing up to see us. That's wonderful. The Rig is with us. Good evening. Hellboy, hi to you. It's so nice to be in it's same place as Hellboy and not have to listen to him. Isn't that great? Kaiser Schnitzel is with us. Good evening. Flashburn, hi to you. Stone is with us. Hi, Stone. Why can't I say that? Firth Vader is with us. Hello to Cat Earth, Cat Earth.
Hi, Jim.
Alex Quad is with us. Good evening. Laurie Gale, hi to you. Nick, good to see you.
You up, Nick?
Captain Bullshit, of course. Guarding the room. Skyfly Bry, good evening. Bry, gosh, I should have sent you a link actually. Did you want to join? Give us a shout if you want to join. Was is with us. Good evening. Dawn Cheddar, hi to you.
No, sorry, Jim. No, Dawn's is cancelled. Cancel that. Shout out, cancelled.
Yeah, shout out retracted. Okay. Rusted Soul, good evening to you. Good to see you. Who else have we got? S2000 GT. That's an imaginative name. I wonder if is that a car, do you think? Hello to you. Skywatcher, good evening. Who else have we got? Just going down this list. Lewis Hackett is watching. Good evening, Lewis. We miss you. Come back to us.
Lewis! Well, unless you're doing something better, then don't come back. Just do whatever's
Yeah. If you've got something better to do, mate.
Do that. It's way better.
Give her one for me.
Give a shout out to Debbie.
Oh, it's Debbie with
I don't know if
us.
she's listening.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Oh, hi, Debbie.
We just forget about Debbie. This is the time where we forget about Debbie. Just for,
yeah,
you know,
we do.
An hour,
I guess.
please.
How can we? Come on.
A Debbie free hour. Charlie, good evening to you. Spurs Chemo, I thought you were too tired to be here. Why are you in the chat if you can't be in the room? As I demand.
Terrible Spurs.
Woz is with us. Good evening, Woz. Zep Tepi is with us. Voynik is with us. Finding some more. Clive Adams. Good evening, Clive. How are you, mate? Good to see you. Gosh, I'm about halfway through, guys. So
it's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there.
There's
some good ones coming up.
I think I've done most people now. Let me shoot through. Quartus. Good evening, Quartus. Nathan Oakley, the first Flat Earth Messiah. He says, hello everybody, did you enjoy my new Ballbusters show to replace the now obsolete Globebusters? That's a Poe's law applies there, I think. John Mackman, good evening to you. Not Arwin's sock account, good evening to you. Trolls versus Trolls, good to see you, mate. Mikaha 1214, hello to you. Where have we got to? Holly Smith, hi Holly, good to see you. Not seen Holly for a while. And Lottie says, hi Lottie, good to see you. Who's that talking to me? Nathan Oakley's Flat Earth Messiah. Nearly there, guys, sorry. Who haven't I said? If I haven't
DQ,
said you...
big up DQ.
DQ is hi to DQ.
We're all gay, but it is nearly Monday, and
Nummy Num is with us. I had a great chat with Nummy Num the other day. I enjoyed that chat, Nummy. Thank you for that. And I think that's Bigfoot. What's that? Bigfoot squashed Karen's pussy into a blob of goo. Well, that's
true story. True story.
Oh, shit.
That's somewhat worrying. If I missed you, speak now in the chat or forever hold your peace. I guess that'll take about 20 seconds to happen. So, what we got next? We've got music next, actually.
Music?
Some music. Hang on, let me get to it. I'm all in a mess.
Oh, this is great. This was a gem.
All right, don't hype it, man.
Sorry.
It ain't that good. Okay, enjoy some Flat Earth music.
Drag queen, drag queen, drag queen, drag queen. I know your hands are white. You're using HRT. It's been a while. The transgender thing has just blown it out of the water, hasn't it, Pete? I should have listened to Antonio. I should have listened to you. It was in plain sight. I called them all out, Pete. I called all of them out, and none of them want to talk about it. So to me, that's just like, that's the bat phone going off in the corner. It's not a tranny thing for me. It's the lie. It's the lie. I'm not judging anyone. I'm speaking righteously. It's the truth.
Exactly.
You know? When I looked at my own life and went back through Facebook, oh mate, it just jumped out at me. Then I've traced it back through PlayStation, and I've slept with 7 men, Pete. I've slept with 7 men and I've sodomized 2 of them, Pete. There's no 2 ways around it. You know, Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me because I didn't know. I didn't know, Pete.
Are you certain that is the case, though? I mean, you're really
positive, without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. For the last 5 years, I stayed on the one subject, bendy water. I wouldn't leave it alone. It can't be proven wrong. It's the biggest proof we've got. Well, I'm not spinning. That was the first one, but bendy water is the most observable one for your eyes. And And I spent 5 years sat on this couch, protesting it. Nobody could ever prove me wrong. You see, I didn't realise how far back it went, Pete. I can trace it right back to 3 years old, Pete. The first androgynous boy that I ever met. It was a girl, female to male. And honestly, I can't get personal with it because I don't want to get personal with it. Not when it comes to friends and family.
Right.
But I'm surrounded, Pete. I am literally surrounded, mate. To answer Selena Lon's question, can I expand on why sex with these victims you had was not satisfying for you? Right. I'm a man, so I was the victim, right? They lied to me. They knew what they were doing. All of them, Pete. All of them knew what they were and what I am in comparison. They hate the Bible, and I couldn't give a crap.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Madder than a bag of bees, isn't he?
This is the first one I can take credit for, Jem, because I sent this one to you. I was watching this live. This was absolutely brilliant. Like I thought the part where Pete, you know, when he was like, "Oh, I've slept with 7 trannies," and even Pete's like, "Are you sure about that?"
Right?
Yeah.
No, I'm more crazy than you, Pete. Shut up. I've got the guitar,
You know what's
better
bad when
guitar.
Pete is trying to be sane? He's trying to pull you back from the brink. It's bad. When Pete
Right. Pete Shea is asking you, is incredulous, and you know you're talking shit.
Yep.
Well, you know, there's an important question I think that was missed. Is if he slept with 7 trannies, right? And he says he sodomized 2 of them, then doesn't that, I mean, wouldn't that mean that 5 of them sodomized him? I don't understand how that works.
Oh, didn't. Come on. You know what he's saying.
No, I don't.
Well, no, they had
He's saying
vaginas.
they're full sex changes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's just talking about every chick he's
When
done.
he
and
says they were
didn't,
men,
you know.
he means they were, you know, they were
They
men
weren't
who'd been sex changed into women.
Well, how did he get this information after the fact?
Oh no, he's mental.
Well, he's found some diagrams online of like female skulls and male skulls and things like that, and that's his main thing, his head shape.
Kosha, you sound like you're trying to figure out how this is true. When not
if someone makes a claim, you have to find out where that claim's coming from. And
Do you not know about the transvestigations? It was like conspiracies by Hans who really started this really big time.
I do, but I don't see why anybody would, openly, to the world admit that. No,
because what it is he thinks this is true now, so he's not like, he thinks it's so prevalent and everyone around him's a tranny, because that's what these videos are about, that everyone around you's tranny. Some of these people, it goes so deep that they're trannies from birth. You could be a tranny and you don't even know it. You need to investigate yourself. He started
investigating himself. He thinks that he might even be originally a woman. Yeah.
It's that paranoid. Yeah. And it's all these weird, like, arbitrary things, like, a ratio. Like, the funniest one I always thought was forehead ratio. Someone did it to IPS. They said he had a feminine forehead ratio. And I always used to type that to him, and he only got it, like, because he's obviously watched the video. It was, they're really crazy. It's all, like, hip to shoulder to, all these things. And just basically, if you want to think they're a girl, you can find a way.
Yeah, but he says even like he's like, I don't want to out anyone in my family. So he's convinced people in his family even are trannies.
Oh yeah,
they're like that.
He was examining himself because he thinks that this is done to babies and things like that. It's got all sorts of nutty ideas about it.
Didn't he say that the mother of his child was originally a man? He says.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it might.
And I think his parents as well, his own parents, I think.
Yeah.
How did he bother the child if he was originally a female
Because he was he was also a tranny, probably. So
right, but a female to male tranny cannot father a child.
Yeah.
There are some clues here for Pongo if he would look at them.
The thing is, he's copying these videos. If you've seen them, like they're actually about a year old now. A lot of these videos.
He does actually name some channels in that video. I didn't include that, but he names this. Like, is it Mr. E? I think is one of the channels.
Mr. E. But it was Hans, Conspiracies by Hans, who started it. I mean, I've always thought he's a funny channel, like it's a comedy because it's so out there. You know, he was saying a year ago, I've got to make these videos when everyone's out the house because they can't hear me. Because I think my dad's a tranny. I've been investigating him. He just puts the most childish drawing up. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, see, this is a woman, this is a man, and it's done on paint. Do you know what I mean? And it's like... I don't know. I've always thought it's a hilarious channel, but it's done a lot of harm either way. Do you know what I mean? To people like
I think these two guys though, they could be the new Pete and Pete. That show, like a satire show, but
right,
yeah.
Are they satire?
Pissy Pete and Stabby Pete.
Oh, different Pete and Pete. I was thinking of. Okay, but what I found most disturbing is that given his stance that all women are trannies, they used to be men, and he said he's saying he's only been with 7 women. That's what I find the most disturbing.
No, only 7 of them have passed the tranny investigation.
No.
And 2 of them were
all
sodomized.
Women used to be men.
No, not all of them. Just the ones that he feels like have the wrong ratio.
No, but he thinks that all women used to be men.
No, he doesn't.
Not all. Some are allowed because he has.
Okay.
What's that
misheard
girl,
him.
Melanie, who goes in his hangout? She's passed the test. She sent some pictures in and passed the test. His mate Jez did as well. Sent him a naked picture, I believe. It's just him standing there, with his arms outstretched, completely naked.
Investigation has its perks.
That isn't enough proof, in my opinion. It's the ratios. It's the forehead that does it. In my
well, they claim, some of them claim it's done in the womb and all sorts of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of that comes from the very biblical stuff, right? That it's Satanist and it's reversing everything, and do you know what I mean? It's the extreme paranoia that everything's being changed around, and it's completely nuts. I can't believe people can go. I mean, it is actually crazier than Flat Earth.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying about Patricia Steer, and then I don't want to make the claim that I'm not claiming that she's a tranny. I'm equating what I said with about her, like kind of moving to something else that's not Flat Earth once it gets kind of clearly debunked. I think this tranny thing, it's kind of like it'll probably be what some people are focusing on. You know what I mean? Because it's not the same. It's not the same claim, and so once too many people move away from that, the people who are making this content, they're going to want to latch onto something else, some other crazy claim. But I think that's much crazier and much easier to prove. It's like if all girls were dudes and like everyone's a dude, I don't get it.
Yeah, but I am just saying, have you ever seen some of those pictures where they try and trick you with the trannies? It's quite scary.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, you got to watch out. If you go to like Thailand, you best watch out, boy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it certainly there's some that can fool you for sure. Yeah, although I feel like I have a keen eye for that kind of thing.
You think you do?
You're right.
Until they pull their wanger out. And
well, that's always the giveaway, isn't it? It's the penis between the legs that's the real, kicker in these things, I guess.
Donald Trump had it right. Grab him by the... No, sorry.
There was a Bond girl, wasn't there, years and years ago? A Bond girl who was transsexual.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Tula, I think her name was. She was like an international model,
Well, I mean, this is the thing. In some ways it's crazy, but when you're going to like, I'm a tranny and my dad's tranny and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can understand that it is something that's highly pushed in the media right now. Do you know what I mean? And it is a bit uncomfortable for I think most people, but it's being pushed. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so it doesn't stem from absolutely nowhere. This thing, it's given a bit of validity, especially when you see sorry Scott, but when you see all the not the Olympics, all the sports things where they're saying it's unfair because you've got certain sports people doing really well because they're like, I'm a woman, and they're like beating all the women. Sorry, Scott. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it is being pushed to the media, but what's not being pushed, or what doesn't seem to be clear, is that there are secret ones. It's like what's being pushed to the media are the celebrations of like, Kyle Jenner or Jenna, whatever her name is, and yeah, whatever, and the people that they know are. No, it's not like there's any sense or reason to believe that people are secretly transsexuals. You know what I mean? Oh
yeah, that's the mental part of it. Do you know what I mean? But you could see whether that feeds, that it's not come from nowhere. If you know what I mean, it's not. Well, it's Flat Earth is kind of from nowhere in a lot of ways. It's just suddenly popped up.
Yeah, you're right. It's like transsexuals in the zeitgeist right now, and so that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Right. Shall we have a bit more revolution?
Yes.
Viva.
Riley has been up to some tricks, and let's take a look. I'm going to say, pay careful attention. I think I included it all. It's difficult to remember when you're editing this stuff, what you put in and what you left out sometimes. But I'll say, pay careful attention to the names that Riley mentions in this clip. And enjoy.
So it's the first time I got it today. I've never been able to do it. And I'm like, yeah, because it's weighted. It's a little bit weighted. It's not a cheap one. And it's all about the flow, people. So, sorry, just have to show you because I'm like, whoo. I'm just chuffed because now I can get doing it.
For whatever reason, within...
So it's the first time I got it today. I've never been able to do it. And I'm like, yeah, because it's weighted. It's a little bit weighted.
I was going to tell you, Jim, sorry, I forgot to mention that in your thing. And
it's all about
this is Dolly Daydream, by the way, just by way of introduction.
Sorry, just have to show you because I'm like,
this is better anyway.
I'm just chuffed because now I can get doing it.
For whatever reason, within Flat Earth, there appears to be a faction within Flat Earth, not ballers, not people that genuinely believe we live on a sphere. So it's none of the ballers, none of the baller trolls even. It's people within Flat Earth that are literally trying to eat it from the inside. Look at all the division that's going on, the cause, the problems, and ask yourself, well, what's really going on here? Flat Earth is literally infiltrated by intentional psychological warfare, and it's all coming from one channel. Think about that.
Can you say what channel that is? Just out of curiosity.
I'm curious as well.
Is it? Can I guess? Is it Dell's channel? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't want to say the name of the channel. There are people within this community that are encouraging divisions and conflicts, and it all comes from. It used to be 2 channels, but one of them's gone. So divide and conquer should be thought of as a warfare tactic that's purposely used against a perceived enemy in order to weaken and destroy them. We're under attack, guys. It's blatantly obvious. But for ages, I've wondered why it is that this one particular channel seems to be very hostile, very disruptive, very like encouraging conflict and division, putting up walls between channels, not uniting. And I'm not saying that we should all sing Kumbaya together. Absolutely not. I never get involved in drama. But I've realised that with this new girl coming into it, this Dolly, for whatever reason, she was getting attacked just because she's come out of nowhere with really hard level trolling. She came as a result of a conversation that I had with Roxanne in a group chat. And basically, Roxanne said, I've been watching her for a few months. She's into different elements that's not directly Flat Earth. She's indirectly Flat Earth. But she's a really nice channel, and she's just started encroaching on Flat Earth. Can we go over and give her a bit of support? And the reality was, it was a group chat with all the good people in it, right? So if you didn't get the message, then that might tell you that you might not be the good person. Maybe not, but in this context, you're definitely not the good person if you then start attacking the people that went over there to encourage her. So I'm talking about the likes of myself, D Marble, Bob from Globebusters went over. Nathan probably didn't because he never does as he's told. Ranty probably even went over. I don't know, but there was quite a few, like I say, big names that, you know, in this group. And we all went over and we basically said, welcome to the club. I hope you enjoy your stay, kind of thing, and just welcomed her, encouraged her, and that was it. But because those different people, all those big names, or not, that sounds really pretentious. All those people that are of the club, that meant that she in some way had been like called, or she was like instructed by, or whatever, and it caused a shitload of really strong level trolling against her, like personally. And I was like, what has she done to warrant this?
Oh, hang on.
I started picking on one guy that was attacking hard.
Is that Mr. Cheese Dick?
No, someone called Celtic. I didn't know where. I've never met him before, other than the last couple of days. But he's linked to. He's linked to that one particular divisive channel, and he's linked to Beyond Belief and Mr. Cheswick.
Yeah, I saw the video with Mr. Cheese Dick saying about
So what they've done is they've done like hit piece videos already on her, just because she's got into Flat Earth through Roxanne, and then Roxanne's put up a flag, and we've all gone over and said hi, and they don't like it.
I don't run about slandering. I don't make memes and hit pieces just calling people hateful and immoral and unethical and all that without substantiating and actually articulating through their walk, through looking at their content and highlighting where I see these things. I am not trying to shut any of these people down. I'm not trying to slander them, you know, start smear hatred campaigns. I don't engage in any of that stuff. If anybody could go and point and bring forth any of my content that shows that that's what I've been doing, by all means. I'm not the one that's slandering and spewing hatred. Could anybody show me where I've offered any hatred towards anybody? No, you bloody well cannot. It doesn't exist. It's not in me to hate. I would not waste my being or my energy hating anybody. Why would I hate anybody? You'd have to be some bitter, insecure, retarded, you know, unevolved moron. I do not encourage or condone anybody attacking anybody on a personal level. If people are getting personal, I don't agree or condone any of that stuff. It's got nothing to do with me. I don't need to go to those levels. Now you've got dick breath here, pie eater. You're just a fat pie-eating clown, son. You don't have a fucking clue. You're not smart enough to engage with somebody like me. You're not man enough. You're a sneaky wee snivelling wreck that hides and thinks you're something. Thinks being the main word, because you're nothing. Never have been, never will be. Let's think back to when Riley the Pie Eater appeared on the scene. Riley the Pie Eater appeared on the scene in one of my early hangouts. You're not going to have a leg to stand on here, right? Maybe because of that fucking belly in front of you. Anthony Riley, you are a fat wanky gobshite that's no clever, no intelligent, doesn't have a fucking clue from his fucking ear hole to his asshole. If it had cream on it, you would eat your own asshole, you clown. How do you like the maples, sonny boy?
Wasn't fucking talking about you, was I, dickhead?
That doesn't make any sense. How can I be being divisive then? Oh.
You're not. Oh, you weren't. You weren't. I wasn't talking about you.
Obviously it never worked if that's really what I was up to. Because you're stating it, that there's only one channel. Can you articulate where the division has came from? Can you articulate through any of my content specifically where I've been divisive? I'll wait for you either to man up, grow a set of fucking testicles, son, and put the fucking pies down, and come and face me and articulate it. Oh.
I'm facing you now and articulating it. I'm not fucking talking about you, you dickhead. I don't know why you would think that I was. The only reason why you've done this is because you've took what Joey said at the end, put it at the beginning, just so that you could go... Again. Pussy. You're a fucking pussy. Nobody would do that. You've only done this so you can have a pop. Create a bit of drama. It's funny that you seem to fit into the 3 factors that I was talking about. That is basically divide and rule. I will come back to them 3 factors because I'll conclude based on. I mean, I haven't seen all of this hangout. I've seen some of it, the first bits of it when I heard. I didn't even know that you'd called me a fat whatever it was, and I'm like, really? So that's I hadn't got to that far. This is all fresh to me, so I'm reacting based on the fly, and I'm thinking to myself, what a pussy! You're an embarrassment, Del. It's absolutely terrible what you've done. What a mistake you've done. But I'm loving it because I'm going to enjoy this moment. For all the times that you've attacked my friends, and it is a clique, it is a club, and you're not in it for good reason. 1, you may not want to be in it. That's fine. You don't have to be in any club. But 2, because when we need help because things don't go right or we need to do something and we need support, it's better to be part of a group than it is to be part of your own renegade clique with all your little minions. Do you know, you're actually converting me, Del. The more I'm thinking about this video that I did with Ranty, the more I'm thinking that actually I see why you thought it was you. But I'm having to change my mentality because I'm not thinking about the other guy anymore. I'm now thinking about you. And it fits. Bad, Del. Bad form.
Hey, Sleeping Warrior.
Yo.
Hey.
Is it all sorted with you and Dal now?
Well, yeah, if you mean as he realised that he's made a mistake and he reacted to a video that wasn't actually aimed at him, then no, he hasn't admitted he's made a mistake yet.
Wow.
I'm hoping he admits he's made a mistake. I have removed the hangout that I had that was reacting because it adds drama and I don't mean it to. I wanted people to see my position and then remove it because I'm not really interested in the drama side of it. However, he hasn't been in touch yet to say, shit, I might have got that one wrong. However, I have still left up my little 90-second ditty, which is like a little bit of light-hearted poking the fun. That's still there for the moment. I'm hoping that he gets in touch and he kind of admits that he was reacting to a video for which wasn't actually aimed at him. But I don't know if he can take a joke or not. So perhaps he'll realise that he made a mistake. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll respond with nasty rebuke and stuff. Maybe he won't. The ball's really in his court.
Oh, it's glorious. It's
it
glorious,
has actually finished
Jim.
now. I forgot about that little bit I tagged on the end there. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think Riley was talking about Del.
Of course he was.
When I heard him say it, he said Del, and I did include all the names there. He said the name he mentioned, the guy he was arguing with, was Celtic67. That is an account that actually I thought was Del, because Del's obviously a Celtic fan, and all the stuff that guy was saying sounded like Del, but that's often the case with Del's followers. So he mentioned Celtic67 and mentioned Mr. Cheswick, and he mentioned Beyond Belief, who's another Del. Well, both of those are total Deltards. So, and he said they're all linked to this one main channel. So that can only be Del, and it can't be any of them 3 because he's named them and he wasn't naming the channel. So who else can it be? And he also said there used to be 2 channels, now there's only 1, which I think was a reference to Eric Dubay, who was also a big mate of Del's and was also known for being, he had his wall of shame of flat earthers and all that. So.
And as John said, isn't the other guy Antonio he was talking about? He's not really around. You know what I mean? Because he loves Patricia, doesn't he? So he would be a big.
Well, Nathan Oakley, the Flat Earth Messiah, says Riley was talking about Mr. Cheswick specifically, but I don't think he was, because he said in that little bit of a to and fro with Ranty there, he said there's Mr. Cheswick, there's Beyond Belief, and there's Celtic, and they're all linked to this one main channel, and it was the one main channel that was where all this stuff was supposedly emanating from. So I don't see how that can be Mr. Cheswick, since he was named twice.
And wasn't he also the first thing that I don't know who said it to him was, but the other guest said to him was, "Is it Dell?"
Yeah, and
he goes, "Oh, I don't want to say," rather than, "No, it's not Dell, but I don't want to say."
right. So I think it absolutely was Dell, and I don't know, but anyway, there's a lot of to and fro going on with this. I don't know if Dell's responded again or probably just ignored him, but.
Well, I think it would be pretty hilarious if Anthony ended up making a video based on us talking about this, because you'd have to be so weird to watch. Basically, Anthony watching us, watching Anthony, watching Dell, watching
Anthony.
Like,
yeah.
I know, it was crazy, wasn't it? Watching that, it was mental.
It'd be like that thing where you share the Hangout, wouldn't it? And you get that sort of endless regression of Hangout screens.
It was crazy. Yeah, do you know what a gem you missed out as well? You know the bit with the Range Rover? Do you remember that? He was like, "Well, I've got a Range Rover and you've got a Micra or something." He wouldn't.
Yeah, he got that.
Rover.
At one point, he's going, "I'm just an ordinary bloke. I'm just an ordinary bloke who drives a
Range
well, I'm
Rover."
just an ordinary bloke," and he doesn't actually say the name of the vehicle because he's trying to sound more ordinary.
Oh, it was brilliant. And then he played his video again. Like, if you haven't seen my video with the Range Rover.
Well, he's got. I mean, have you seen this jokey video that he's supposedly done? He thinks it's very funny.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
No, what is
it?
it?
The one where he's like at like his mom's house or something like that, and he goes outside and like fights Dell, like he would fight Dell. Come on.
Oh no.
And
I think that's the idea, wasn't it? A fight. There's a fight going on outside.
Yeah, it's too funny.
Well, that's the other thing he was saying, wasn't he? Oh, I can take Dell. Oh,
Come on, dude. Don't say that. I would. He lives too close, man. You guys live too close to Ireland, I wouldn't say that stuff online.
Dell's to Scotland.
Yeah.
You can't like.
Yeah,
he's on the. No, I mean he could get there. It's not that hard. You wouldn't have to do anything. You just drive there, but it is quite far. Even though it's not. Even though England's not big, the road.
I don't know. Dell could be at Riley's in 2.5 hours, probably.
Do you reckon? Is it 2.5 hours?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I mean, my mate used to drive up there. It used to take him about 4 or 5 hours from where I live to Scotland.
Right.
So
I just mean, there's certain people you call them out, and they almost feel obligated to do something at that point. So
right.
I don't think Dell would do that, honestly. Like I know he's crazy.
I don't think he would. I think you could probably get him to quite easily if you were kind of already stood next to him. Do you know what I mean? If you were already there, I think you could probably quite easily get him to punch you. Well, that's true of any Scot, really, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. Just cuss out. I don't know, Iron Brew or something. I don't know. Sorry, Scottish people. Is that Scottish? Yeah, it's Scottish. Yeah, of course it is. Is it?
Any thoughts? Anyone else on this?
As always, I can't understand a word Dell says, so I can't wail you.
Spaghetti fuck you wee ball baggy.
He talks about bottoms an awful lot, doesn't he? He's always makes some reference to somebody's bottom. I mean,
yeah. And Riley had said something about his tits too. He's like, what did he say? He's like, I was sitting here watching your tits or something like that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, you can't like this is the thing is like he is the biggest hypocrite. Even they've noticed it. I mean, Ranty's video was pretty genius. Even Ranty of all people noticed what a hypocrite Dell is. He just the way he was like, I don't do personal attacks, and then a minute later, you fat wee ball wank or whatever he was calling him, you fat wank or whatever. Like, it's just like he's got no reflect. Like he is a lot of flat Earth, and all of us in general. But a lot of flat Earth is quite hypocritical. But Dell is on the top of the hypocrisy scale, in my opinion. It is everything he ever moans about is what he is guilty of.
Projection, totally, isn't it?
Yeah. But so cult leaders, the cult leaders. You are a cult leader, Dell. Like,
yeah.
Don't
more
people.
than anyone, I think, in Flat Earth, because he does have these people. Beyond Belief, who was mentioned, is another one where I was in a chat comment sort of to and fro with him, where I was absolutely convinced I was talking to Dell. because he just says all the same lines that he does. And he didn't. I even said, you're Del, and he just kept going. He didn't sort of deny it. Do you know what I mean? He just continued as if he was Del, sort of thing.
But they do.
Not only did he sound like him, he was quite happy to be mistaken for him.
Yeah, I mean, they all spout his. A Del follower when they spout their.
Right.
The what is it? The water curved to a ball, or all that nonsense. I mean, the usual Del memes and. He is a cult leader. He literally, because despite we're joshing Riley about him being not honest about who he's talking about, he isn't wrong anything he said about Del. Like, Del is doing all that. He creates division. He doesn't really do anything but moan about people on all his streams.
Right.
When has he done anything but a stream about moaning about this or that? And when there's no ballers to moan about, he turns on his own people. Because after Poncho's thing went down, you remember the guy who went on there, a few of them went on trying to be friendly Del, and he's like, if you're not going to say anything, fuck off, and you're an idiot. I mean, he's not reaching out, and and from their point of view, they want to expand it. They want new people in, and he's just downing all that, which is what they need, to just from their point of view. So I don't think Riley was wrong at all. But
and Del has sort of changed somewhat in that he used to be. He wanted people to do activism and this sort of thing, and now he sort of doesn't want them to.
He doesn't. Like Del's, there's no consistency. He's just totally working off his own emotion, which is why he can't see his own hypocrisy. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too. I'm not that smart to say these things, but you know what I mean? That's what it is. He's triggered by Roxanne, so. All that stuff's stupid, and then when he forgets about that, he's like, let's go out and talk to universities, and
right,
he's just he is just. I don't think he's a bad guy, but he is a massive hypocrite. He is. He really is. I'm not saying he's not, but he is an arsehole to people. But I don't want to take that away. I don't want to say that, but I don't think he's definitely not in it for the money. It's all of the ego for him. It's all ego driven. And he won't admit that to himself, That's why he's always been. And also, while we're going about it, sorry to keep ranting. You just have to see Russian vids as exposes of him. You can see why triggered he got. Like, he's done videos, a lot of views as well, a lot of views.
Right.
So, so that was quite entertaining.
But I think
I thought that was.
I also think Riley has a tendency to sort of follow. Like when Ranty did his fundraiser for his camera. Right after Riley did his fundraiser for his college course, and Nathan's had his run-in with Bob. Now Riley's got to have a run-in with someone. It seems, it's
right.
And that's why we had a revolutionary theme for tonight's show, because it seemed like Del's having a go at taking someone down as well. Someone bigger and more popular than he is.
But at the same time, he is right. He was being talked about by Riley, and
and
he's right.
I know, because I know they did this to Roxanne, didn't they? They attacked her as soon as she came along, and Del was vicious. He did it publicly in his, on his Saturday night show, just laid into her, and she'd never met him or anything. But, and for the same reason that she'd sort of come from nowhere and this sort of
Who are these people?
Right.
It was total jealousy of her. It really was.
I thought that was I don't want to fat shame anybody, of course, but I thought that was really funny when he said the pie eater Riley.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious.
I know Riley gets a bit offended about that stuff, I think, as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be thought of as fat. Although he is fat. Poor Riley.
Hang on, you've got to chat. Isn't Riley a hypocrite? He just wants to be contrarian. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Riley is a hypocrite, definitely.
Right. The one thing I would say though is Del's insults are a lot more creative than Riley's, aren't they? I mean, Riley just kept saying, "I wasn't talking about you, dickhead. I wasn't talking about you, dickhead." Whereas, Del has these very, they're almost poetic, his insults.
Well, what was Riley's? You remember that? Pussy!
Yeah, exactly.
Pussy. Yeah,
Like that.
Pussy! That was so weird.
You gotta be careful, though, doing that shit. I'm telling you, because, you say it to somebody, and whether or not they're a violent person or whatever, it's like they almost feel obligated. Like, you know, someone calls them out, you know, in public.
Right.
It's like, I got to do something about it now.
Their pride is hurt, yeah, and I don't think Dale actually cares. I really don't. I think
No.
Dale does genuinely not care that much in that sense. He'll run off the internet. I don't think he'll travel anywhere to fight anyone. I think he's secure enough in himself in that way.
Yeah.
He thinks a lot of himself.
Yeah.
So,
And I think he
way.
enjoys being called out like this and having someone to get his teeth into. Do you know what I mean? I think
well, that's everything he does. Like Riley's accusing him of, isn't it? That is everything he does, is just attack other people, and he likes it. So Riley's done him a favour, and they're probably in a back chat. They probably organised all this,
right?
probably.
Yeah.
But you know, that's all he wants is the drama, really, because that is always sort of channels about. So I don't know, but you know, it is entertaining. But at the same time, you know, you're saying about Riley, the insults. I think that is because Riley doesn't insult people. If you think about it, he's not like Nathan or even Ranty or Arwin or any of those. He's quite polite. You know, he is willing to talk to other people. So I think he is out of his depth when he's trying to insult people.
Right.
You know, he's like,
I guess.
Pussy. It's like, what?
I guess you've never been on that end of the stick, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he's obviously angry. You know, he's white knighting a little bit for.
Totally white knighting for Dolly Daydream, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and Roxanne, you know, and Patty, got it all in there because I think he also meant the Antonio thing. You know, that's what he was saying. The other one,
yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
that's another little clue though. At the end there, he says, "For all the times you've attacked my friends," you know. So
yeah,
you know.
Oh man.
It shows he feels he has history in that regard.
I would white knight for Dolly, man. She's beautiful.
Yes.
I'd turn flat earth for her.
Would you, Kosho?
Yeah, I'd be a flirt for tomorrow.
Oh, you give it up too easily, man. She was good though with that hula hoop, wasn't she? Nice, nice,
that's what it was.
Attractive lady. Yes.
that was an expensive hula hoop as well. It wasn't a cheap one.
It was weighted, apparently.
Yeah, it was weighted. Yeah, those things are pricey, even on eBay.
Yeah, she made it look easy as well, didn't she? So she's obviously supple.
She should make dance videos like Jism's Mom, Not Mom.
Yeah, the one that's I know. Jaronism's Not Mum. I know. He does that.
Diana Campanella.
Right.
Wait, what was up with that video? The one with the hula hoop and Dolly.
Well, that was what it was all about. You see, I probably should have introduced that first. But yeah, she was the person who was attacked, the new person that they all went over to go and see. You know, when Riley's describing that, he says we all went over to see, you know, Roxanne told me about this new girl. Well, that was who it was.
Yeah. So I've been on the show.
She seems, you know, nice enough, doesn't she? She's pleasant. Like
she really does.
Pleasant girl.
She really does. Yeah. No, but I've been on the show with him before where she was in the chat, and then he stopped the show just to make sure that everybody went over and, you know, subbed her show and, you know.
Right.
Oh, what a nice guy. No ulterior motives at all, I'm sure.
He's trying to start a flat earth harem or whatever they call them. Harem, what are they called?
Yeah, well, any women in flat earth, and he's straight there, isn't it? Especially if they're in the north of England, you know, or the south of England.
You know? He definitely said that it's not worth going to London anymore. Remember, he was like, it's too long, it's too far.
You know what? We're on air right now. Here's an invitation to her right now. I'll invite her on the Flat Earth cruise. She'll stay in the room with me.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm telling Debbie.
With the hula hoop?
Yeah, don't tell Debbie.
You will have to go full flirf for that, I think, mate.
Sure. Just don't tell them I'm Kosho.
I reckon she'd probably respond to a cruise, though. I reckon that would be a good first date.
Oh, there you go.
Tell her it's a flat Earth cruise. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't that what they're doing this year?
Yeah, I think it's next year now.
It's all really just people trying to shag each other, really, at the end of the day. Isn't it?
Yeah.
A true Flat Earth cruise will be lost at sea and will not return. Don't go on it.
Right. Can you imagine being trapped on a cruise ship with a load of flat earthers?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All flat smacking the cruise ship.
Oh god.
Please not. You imagine the pilot the captain commits suicide, and then crash into an iceberg. It's the ice wall.
Every elevator ride is just going to be a flat smacking. It's going to be a YouTube show waiting to happen.
The ship becomes totally lost at sea because one of the flat earthers dismantled the, gyroscope compass thing, to find out where it was, where it was rigged.
Oh god.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a coast show. It's not worth your life, mate.
Well, if she says yes, I'll go for sure.
Well, let's organise that. Let's put a shout out to the hula hoop girl. What was her name again?
Dolly Daydream.
Dolly.
Yeah. Shout out to Dolly for coast show Flat Earth Cruise 2019.
I'll start a GoFundMe.
In the interest of politeness, please sub Dolly's channel as well. I probably should have stuck it in the thing, and I didn't. But Dolly Daydream, it's all one word. Have a look. Sub her channel, and then we'll pay her back for using her for our entertainment.
Yeah, but don't encourage her with the flat Earth stuff. Yeah, just tell her.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, shall we round it out? I think.
Yeah.
Anyone, any final thoughts before I do that?
I do.
Yeah, I thought about don't invite Dolly on a flat Earth cruise. It's probably not a good idea. Sorry, carry on, Kev. Sorry.
No, my final thought, not to backtrack too far, but on the subject of Dell being poetic with his insults. On that tip, was anybody else reminded of Longfellow or perhaps Emerson when Dell made the comment about how Riley would eat his own asshole? I thought that was just a beautiful comment.
That's what I mean. Pure poetry, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so join us again next week for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video, or join our Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord has over 1,200 members, and we manage to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching us. We'll be back around the same time next week, so until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
And buy a Range Rover, you pussies. Sorry.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set. All the world's a stage and you're on it.
Jesus Christ, can suck my dick? Suck my dick?
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
I'm lucky to you, right? It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey zipping through the vacuum, or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
Can't have a can't have a flat Earth and things making sense.